CHAMPS Winter Roundup is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud partner and official military branch of the MHSAA. The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, because better coaching always matters. Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation, nominations being accepted now for Male and Female Athlete of the Year at dacathleteoftheyear.com. Hello, and welcome to another rendition of the Roundup. I'm Lauren Plant. This is Jenna Skelski. Jenna, we are smack dab in the middle of winter now. This show is like a cozy fire where the fans of Michigan high school sports like girls basketball, wrestling, boys swimming, and competitive cheer huddle up to some great highlights.
You are so right, Lauren. We support all high school sports, and that's what shows like the Roundups are all about. Before we begin, we have to shout out our presenting sponsor, Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare.
Grosse Pointe South girls basketball coach Kevin Richards will be along in just a bit, and it's only partially to talk hoops. The majority of our conversation is about saving lives, literally.
But that's later. Let's start with girls basketball from the LVC.
I'm Kevin Trozinski, and it was a first-place battle in the Lakes Valley Conference as Waterford Mott was at home to take on Walled Lake Western. Both teams coming in at 6-0 in league play. And we pick things up in the first quarter. Waterford Mott in white working the offensive glass. Michaela Proctor kicks it out to Michaela Fierus, and the junior knocks down the triple in the corner. The Corsairs led 8-5 after the opening quarter. Walled Lake Western coming in at 7-2 overall record. Olivia Warren takes it away from Mott and feeds it to senior Jenna Galicki for the easy bucket. The Warriors down a penny at 11-10. But Mott would end the half on a 7-0 run. They worked the ball down low to the junior Proctor, who drops down the bunny. She had a team-high 11 points, and the Corsairs went into the break, leading 18-10. Walled Lake Western would continue to turn up the defense pressure in the second half. Warren pokes it away. Then Laya Krarek would get the long outlet pass back to Warren, who lays it on in. She would finish with a game-high 15 points. Later in the third, it would be Galicki that works her way in for the contested bucket. The senior also finished in double figures with 12 points. Warriors up 30-25 as we head into the fourth. But Waterford Mott would gain the lead back in the fourth and never look back, as junior Aaliyah Austin knocks it down from downtown, and she had 10 points on the night, as Waterford Mott goes on to win 43-38 the final. Corsairs are in first place, all alone in the LVC Conference.
I'm Jason Hutton in the West Michigan area. Two state-ranked teams battling in the top of the OK Gold. Grand Rapids Christian at East Grand Rapids. Pioneers starting strong on the home court. Macy Brown, the freshman, buries the triple. EGR scores 16 of the first 19 points in the game. But Christian High comes right back. They'd score the next 10. Haley McBride, two of them off the window on the drive here. It was a 3-point game after 8 minutes. Second quarter, more from Grand Rapids Christian. Emma Whitty, the offensive board, puts it back in. Eagles trailed by 5, 24-19, but East pushes the lead back out before the half. It's Brown. We saw her shoot the three now off the bounce, scoops with the right hand and scores. 12-point East lead at the break. In the second half, this time it's older sister Jillian Brown, the junior. Nice move to the bucket. East Grand Rapids so impressive as the Brown sisters combine for 38 points and a 64-40 win over Grand Rapids Christian.
I'm Chuck Pellerito, and we go to a huge wrestling match on Wednesday night as the top two teams in Division I squared off. Number 1, Catholic Central, hosted number 2, Davison. Catholic Central, the 3-time defending state champs, ranked 3rd nationally, would get things going in the 140-pound weight class. Missouri commit and undefeated 2-time state champ Josh Edmond with a blast double and solid finish for the near fall and the pin on Jaron Wilson to give the Shamrocks a 6-0 lead. Davison ranked 16th nationally. The top two wrestlers in the 152-pound weight class squared off as Josh Barr took on Logan Sainham. The nationally ranked freshman Barr with a mean underhook to single and chases the corner for the takedown. He would go on to win this match. Next to 160, the Indiana commit and 6th-ranked wrestler in the country, Derek Gilcher, going up against Jay Navision. Remaining moments of the third period of this match, Gilcher hits a shuck and a nice pancake and go behind for the takedown at the buzzer as he goes on to victory. Shamrocks now up 15-3. Davison's Alex Facundo, #1 junior in the country, the top-ranked grappler in the 171-pound weight class, taking on Cameron Adams. And he would dominate in this match, hitting a sweet pancake for the takedown and near fall, earning the technical fall, Cardinals keeping it close. Sophomore Manny Rojas, the #1 state-ranked wrestler in D1 at 171 pounds, bumping up to 189, and he would take out Max Callahan with a solid single leg and athletic counter for the near fall. At the end of the period, as he would go on to win by major decision. Moving on to the 215s. Brendan Yatuma, nationally ranked #20 and the returning individual champ in this class, hits an awesome post attack for the takedown against the state's third-ranked Jimmy Colley of Davison. Yatuma would get another win for the Shamrocks. Next up, we had a good one in the heavyweights. Stephen Kolchev was taking on Steven Jelnick. Kolchev gets caught chasing the pin with a headlock and is unable to convert, giving Jelnick the takedown. But the Old Dominion commit Kolchev would get the escape and the 4-2 victory. And it would be too much Shamrocks on this night. In a rematch of the CC Invite Finals, it would be the freshman Drew Heatis getting revenge on Aiden Williams of Davison, scoring the low-angle attack for the takedown to earn the victory. As Detroit Catholic Central goes on to beat Davison in this battle of the top 2 teams in the state.
I'm on the Blue Devil football team, and that's a great place to be, because other colleges wouldn't let me be both a football player and a nursing student. And just because I'm a dog on the field doesn't mean I can't take care of people. And man, do I love people. The small class size at LTU give me awesome access to my nursing professors. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
You need to check out State Champs Hangtime, Michigan. We comb the state for some of the best matchups featuring some of the top teams and players. State Champs Hangtime, Michigan is for hoops junkies, and it premieres right here on the State Champs Sports Network and the State Champs app, Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern.
The ones who wake up every morning ready to take on the world. The ones who push their limits to be better than the rest. You're looking to join a team of leaders who want to be challenged. You want to be pushed to your limits. You value freedom and think you have what it takes. The ones with speed, strength, intellect, and determination. Michigan Army National Guard. We see you.
We're getting reports that you have over 40,000 flavor combinations.
That's right.
May I examine one, ma'am? Is this real cheese?
100% real mozzarella, officer.
Explain this dough.
Made fresh daily.
I'm gonna have to confiscate this as evidence.
Aren't you a mall cop?
All units, someone's in the fountain.
10-4. Tiger on the prowl.
Treat yourself to the world's first stuffed flavored crust pizza. And now, for just $6.99, try our new stuffed Howie bread.
Hungry?
Howie!
Today, we'd like to take you inside our recent youth football summit.
In its continuing efforts to promote football as a safe and fun game to play at the youth and school levels, the MHSAA, in conjunction with several other stakeholders, hosted a youth football forum on January 19th. The purpose of the forum was to create common ground between school and non-school programs and provide information the many youth football program leaders in attendance could take back to their communities. To help make the case for youth football, some early discussions centered on injuries, particularly concussions, where a lot of misinformation in the media has affected participation numbers. Attendees learned that new information supports the notion that the game has never been safer, especially as it relates to mental functions in later life. Everyone on the program, including those representing the Detroit Lions and USA Football, made it a point that the game must be fun to attract and retain participants. And that includes teaching and playing every kid at every position, including ball handling positions, and better organization of team practices. Participants also talked about the Michigan Youth Football Statement, which promotes season limitations for games and practices for youth football to make them more resemble school football, and the creation of an alliance to speak on behalf of youth and school football coaches.
For a copy of the Michigan Youth Football Position Statement or any other information about football, visit the football page at MHSAA.com.
Let's get back to the highlights. To the west side of the state we go for competitive cheer. Granville High School, the site for the OK Red mid-season meet from Wednesday night. 7 schools competing in this one, and we begin with Holland West Ottawa with their performance in round 1. Good performance by the Panthers as they went on to finish in 4th place. Next up, we have the Rockford Rams with their routine in the second round. Rockford would end the night in 3rd. Hudsonville looking to make some noise and had a solid performance in round 2. The Eagles with a score of 228.42 in this round, as they would be your runner-up. The Granville Bulldogs ranked 8th in the latest Division I rankings. Wow, the home crowd in round 3. As Granville would go on to take 1st place at the OK Red mid-season meet. We go back to girls basketball Macomb Area Conference Blue Division matchup as L'Anse Creuse North was at home to take on St. Clair Shores Lakeview, who came into the contest at 6-2 on the season. And we picked things up in the first quarter. Tatum Stein with the drive and dish to the junior Ariana Woldeck, who drops the buddy. Huskies led 13-5 after the first quarter. And Lakeview would expand on its lead in the second, working the ball around, and it would be the junior Trisha Sankowitz who drives it in for the bucket. The Huskies was up 13 at 23-10 as we head into halftime. L'Anse Creuse North tied for 1st in the division with Lakeview, who would cut into the deficit in the second half. Brooke Daniels gets it to Kayana Carlos, who kisses it off the glass for 2. The Crusaders would outscore Lakeview 15-2 in the 3rd quarter as the junior Emily Clayton drains the long jumper. L'Anse Creuse North was down 30-25 as we head into the 4th. We go to the early stages of the final stanza. Check out the senior Stein taking it all the way in for the hoop and the foul. Lakeview up 33-26. But the Crusaders would end the game on a 12-5 run. It would be Clayton that would go in on the bucket, as L'Anse Creuse North goes on to beat Lakeview 48-38 to take sole possession of 1st place in the MAC Blue.
I'm Kevin Trozinski, and we go to boys swimming for a Southeastern Conference tri-meet as Ann Arbor Pioneer was at home to take on Jackson and Dexter, who came in ranked 7th in Division II. Ann Arbor Pioneer ranked 2nd in Division I, and we begin with the 200-yard IM. It was a battle between Pioneer teammates Robert Yang and Vaughn Hadra, and it would be Yang that would get the win by 0.13 seconds. Next, the exciting 50 freestyle. Once again, it was a battle between a pair of Pioneer teammates at the end, and it would be Alex Farmer that would touch the wall first over Kai Williams. Later on in the meet, Farmer was in another close battle here in the 100 free, but this time it would be Caleb Royce that would edge him out for the win by another 0.13 seconds. It would be too much Ann Arbor Pioneer on this night, winning every single event. Here, it would be Sung Jae Lee that would get the win in the 100 breaststroke, as Ann Arbor Pioneer goes on to take the tri-meet over Dexter and Jackson. It's time now to take an inside look at Lawrence Technological University. This week was rush week at LTU as students start to get reacclimated around campus. Greek life at Lawrence Tech has a rich tradition of fostering student involvement and development. Rushing at LTU helps many students find their home. Students choose to become members of fraternities and sororities because of their life-changing opportunities and experiences these organizations provide. Greek-led organizations were founded on the ideal of scholarship, community service, leadership, and lifelong friendship. Lawrence Tech's fraternities and sororities continue not only to uphold these ideals, but strive to reach excellence within each of them. If you are interested in rushing in a fraternity or a sorority at LTU, head over to the website at ltu.edu to find out more.
Hey guys, I want to tell you more about Lawrence Tech. Some of the most sought-after engineers in the country are Lawrence Technological University grads. Let's take the amazing world of industrial engineering. Thanks to a 2018 $75,000 donation by Siemens Corporation, the Industrial Engineering Laboratory houses more than $500,000 in industry-donated hardware and software, allowing LTU IE students to study everything from the human factor of production line fatigue to the optimal placement of robots, sensors, and parts bins on the factory floor. They are doing groundbreaking research, and you can be a part of it. Where do you start? By logging on to ltu.edu.
My dad and my grandfather are officials. I've grown up around officials and seeing how much they enjoy being part of the games. As a student athlete, I've always appreciated the people out there who are willing to give back to the kids. The Legacy program lets me officiate while I'm still in high school, working younger kids' games. Officiating gives me a better understanding of the game. I get to make some pretty good money for a high school kid, and I even get to spend some quality time with my dad. There's help wanted. Just whistle.
Hey guys, Lauren Plant here to remind you that the deadline to submit nominations for the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Male and Female Athlete of the Year is fast approaching. As the host of the live awards show every year, let me clue you in on a few quick things you need to know. Number 1, 6 male and 6 female nominees will be named once the application deadline has passed. If you do not submit a nomination form, I don't care how great of an athlete you are, you cannot be nominated. Number 2, this award is very selective. These are for young men and women who are first-team All-Staters or are projected to be this winter or for the upcoming spring season. It's only for seniors. You have to have a minimum overall GPA of 3.0 or better, and we're looking for leaders both in school and in your community. Number 3, each nominee gets $1,000 in scholarship money. The winners get $5,000 each. This is to help in your college education, and you get to come to a red carpet awesome awards show in May hosted by me. To download the application, go to dacathleteoftheyear.com. The deadline to apply is February 3rd. To be nominated Male or Female Athlete of the Year is an incredible honor and one you'll never forget.
What's up, Puckheads? Sean and John here. Don't forget, you can check out Hockey Time. Every week, we are going to be talking about what's going on in the great state of Michigan at the high school level. So much good hockey being played, and we're going to do our best to cover it from all vantage points in the great state of Michigan. New episodes drop every Wednesday right around 3 o'clock.
Hi everyone, welcome back inside the State Champs Sports Network studio for another segment of Fast Break presented by BCAM, the Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan. This week we are pleased to have one of the board of directors members, Kevin Richards, the coach at Grosse Pointe South of girls basketball. And Coach, thank you so much for taking some time.
I appreciate you having me, Lauren.
All right, he's a teacher, so his time is limited, but this is important what we wanted to do this week and share with you. And that is saving lives, really, when it comes to basketball games and situations that can happen in which time is very limited. Now, Coach, you had a personal connection to something that was unfortunately preventable, yet affected you in a very profound way.
Yeah, in 2003, my dad was playing basketball. Played basketball three to 4 days a week. And
still a young guy.
Still 52 years old. Yeah, 52 years old, and playing in a rec league, and went into cardiac arrest, and unfortunately, at the time, this was in 2003, and a lot of schools didn't have AEDs, available, and and unfortunately, that was the time, and he passed away at 52 years old.
Right, and these are the defibrillators that they now try to make available, I believe, everywhere that they can. And I know that even if there are schools that maybe are not up to code, they can get them. They can have them available, and the training's available to make it necessary. So bring it around to not too long ago, you actually had to step in and take action when action was sorely needed.
Well, we were playing Grosse Pointe North, a rival at home. Good game, 25-25. Bob Zaranek, our freshman basketball coach, was actually asked to, he typically does not do our score clock. Our AD, we were short that night, asked him to come in and fill in. And Bob willingly did that. Bob also coaches softball at Grosse Pointe North. So he's a pillar in the community as far as kids, and he officiates, and so he's doing the clock, and he's walking back from the concession stand, less than a minute to go, in the half, and started the third quarter, and he's walking and just collapsed, and hit his head, cut his head open, so he's bleeding. And our trainer was right there, Colin Karcher. He was unbelievable. He was, his calmness and poise that he had.
The instincts jumped in.
Yes. He checked his pulse and says he doesn't have a pulse. And so I ran and got the AED. When I got back, obviously with the AEDs, there's a loud siren that goes off, so it alerted a lot of people. Right. My mom saw me run and then came back. By the time I got the AED out, my mom had run across the gym. She was a long-time cardiac nurse, all growing up. When I was young, she was the manager of the cardiac cath lab at Port Huron Hospital. And so she started chest compressions immediately. And our trainer and JV basketball coach, Joe Schrebernack, who's a police officer in Grosse Pointe City, and trained, EMT, and they got Bob hooked up with the AED, and they shocked him, and he got his pulse back. And it was intense, brought back a lot of memories, from that night in December in 2003. But, it was just amazing to see. We had Dr. Zacharias from, had kids go to Grosse Pointe North. He was down. One of our volleyball coaches, Janelle DeVita, had come down. There was a lot of people. There was another Austin Price, who was another cardiac. It was just, he was in the right place at the right time. Right. If he hadn't been working that table, if it hadn't been a Grosse Pointe North, Grosse Pointe South game, anywhere else, Coach Bob Zaranek may have not made it.
Absolutely. You need to pay attention to this, because there needs to be people. They were lucky. They had people in the house who could come to aid and service. So make sure you have the AEDs. Make sure you have people on staff who are trained.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. And Bennett, every year you have to go through, and just like you, I'm sure, have to have CPR training. You have to turn it. Sometimes it's like, like checking the box, and looking at it now, it can't be stressed enough. Absolutely. And it needs to be reviewed, and once a year probably isn't enough. Right. And just the education behind not only the CPR, the AED, and there's great foundations out there. I've talked to a lot of people since that night. Actually, the next morning, I posted something, and Coach Ryan Klingler over in Granville, he was the head coach at Fenville High School years ago when Wes Leonard passed away and went into cardiac arrest. And so the Wes Leonard Foundation now, which BCAM is a supporter. Wes Leonard Foundation goes out and purchases AEDs. I think they're having a big game. I put it on Twitter the other day, but they're having a game and they're buying 12 AEDs for schools and organizations that don't have them.
Fantastic. How's he doing?
He's doing great. You know, he would have coached last Friday if the doctors would have let him. You know, so you know, he's doing well, and you know, obviously we're happy to have him back. And you know, like I said, you know, Bob coaches basketball at South. He coaches softball at North. Every Saturday he's officiating either youth flag football games or youth basketball games. He does a lot of my games, you know, at I'm the athletic director at Grosse Pointe Academy. He does our games, so he's, you know, he's very recognizable face in Grosse Pointe, and there's a lot of people out there that are really happy to see him.
Absolutely, and obviously providing a great service to the Grosse Pointe community. Quickly before we let you go, you are coaching, and Grosse Pointe South is having a good season.
Yeah, we're off to a great start. We play a fun style. You know, we press the entire game, you know, on makes and misses, and you know, our focus every day in practice is pressing and shooting, and we sacrifice probably some things that probably I've done in the past, but we feel that, you know, shooting the ball is a skill that everybody can learn, and we let kids play with a lot of confidence, and it's starting to show. We're playing really good basketball right now.
And just quickly, he doesn't have a lot of travel players on his team, so he is, you know, really in the aspect of teaching. You have something that you talked about, the overhead camera, something that we're starting to see now.
We have Nolytics. We were the first public high school in Michigan to get this system.
And what does it do?
Basically, it gives instant feedback each time a girl shoots the ball. It's a camera in the ceiling. It also it's hooked up to a computer, a speaker, and then there's a touch screen on it. And basically what it does, every time someone shoots the ball, it'll give them immediate feedback on their arc or immediate feedback on how straight they shoot it. So we use that, the girls, the data, we track every drill that we do, we track shots, how many they make, and like I said, it's something that we've really emphasized the past 2 years to maybe, like I said, maybe combat some of those teams that have a lot of travel players, more experienced players, and you know, the past 2 years since we switched to this system, you know, like I said, we've had some success. We have a good young backcourt, and in my opinion, I think we have, you know, maybe the most underrated backcourt, you know, if not in the state. I think, you know, we have two girls, Alexa Downey, who junior, that's averaging over 16 points, and then Cameron Richards, she's a sophomore point guard, and she's averaging 13 points a game. So
any relation?
She's my daughter. Yeah. So you know, like, and we have a lot of girls that are, you know, filling their roles and starting to play at a high level.
We appreciate Coach Richards being here. A lot of parity in girls basketball this season, so we'll see how things shake out, especially at the upper levels. And just from a spiritual plane, if you believe in guardian angels, I believe that everything comes around, and certainly had one there.
No question, and like I said, there's no question that I, you know, have my mom there, obviously, and then involved, and you know, I definitely feel that, you know, my dad was there looking out, you know, for Bob, looking out for, you know, everybody involved that night.
Yeah, absolutely. We thank you for being here.
I appreciate it.
Okay, absolutely. Appreciate it very much. Important stuff. That's what we do here at State Champs.
It's time now for the MHSAA Clip of the Week, and we go to girls basketball. And check out Tatum Stein from St. Clair Shores Lakeview. Going the length of the court, the no-look head fake, gets the hoop and the foul in their game against L'Anse Creuse North, and that's your MHSAA Clip of the Week.
That's our show. We hope you enjoyed it. Jenna,
Tell them about the many ways they can watch all of the State Champs content.
We know many of you take it all in via social media. State Champs Michigan and State Champs Indiana are across all platforms. We've got the website statechampsnetwork.com, or how about the brand new streaming app? It's free. Find it on Google Play and in the Apple Store.
Our thanks once again to Kevin Richards for sharing his story. Join us for another round of the Roundup next week.
State Champs Winter Roundup is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud partner and official military branch of the MHSAA. The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, because better coaching always matters. Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation. Nominations being accepted now for Male and Female Athlete of the Year at dacathleteoftheyear.com.